What's up, everyone? My name is Zero, and you're watching Zero Element.ph channel, and we are going to talk about today what he says versus what he really means. So, this is a new topic, and before going further and discussing this topic, go ahead, click the button subscribe and like this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and start now. Let's be honest here, sometimes it feels like a miracle that men and women can even coexist. It seems that we are speaking two different languages. The saying goes that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and it could not feel more accurate. We just do not understand each other at all. Men tend to lie, and they lie for a few reasons. They are cowards, they don't want to hurt you, or they change the narrative to avoid consequences. And sometimes women just want to hear what we want to hear. The majority of us have something called selective hearing. So sometimes we get so swept up in the idea of somebody or fantasizing about what can be. We ignore what a man really says or how he feels. And oftentimes they are just straight up full of crap, and will lie straight to your face. So I gather some information, and here are 15 things guys says and what they really mean. Number 15. Whenever he says, I don't want a relationship, what he means is, I don't want one with you. This means one of two things. He does not want a relationship, period. Or more a more painful pill to swallow. He does not want one with you. Either way, if you are looking for something more meaningful, it is time for you to walk away from him. Do not wait for a man to change, because chances are he never will. A harsh truth that I myself have had to accept once or twice. Yes, it is the worst feeling in the world to think that the man that you love or care about may not be able to reciprocate those feelings. Whether he has emotional baggage, he isn't over his ex, or he doesn't ever see himself with you. It would be in your best interest to leave now. Oftentimes, we believe as women that if we just showed and proved to him how great of a partner that we could be, that he would, magically want to be your boyfriend. It doesn't work like that. The only shred of hope that you do have for him to want to commit is for you to break it off. He may come around, he may not. Regardless, it is not your responsibility to wait for any man. Number 14. Whenever he says this, you deserve better than me. What he really means is, I will never give you what you need. Sad reality. When a man says this, he is trying to tell you to bounce and go find somebody else that will give you what you deserve. He knows that you are a great girl with a good heart on your shoulders, and he is not in a place to dedicate the time or effort you deserve in a relationship. Don't try to be the fixer. Don't try to save him, because at the end of the day, you can't save somebody who isn't willing to save themselves. It would be a completely different story if a man had some emotional issues that he was trying to work through and is truly trying to be a better partner for you. However, if he is blatantly telling you that you need to leave because he isn't good enough for you without making an effort to be better, come on, just say goodbye. Heed his warning. If you decide to ignore him, it is completely on you if you get hurt. Do you get that? And you will get hurt because he is literally telling you that his action cannot match what you expect from him. Number 13. Whenever he says this, I've been working, I am busy, swamped with work. What he really means is, I have lost interest in you. We are all well aware that people make time for the things and the people that they care about. When a man says this to you, he is making an excuse to judge you. Work is not a cop out to never spend time with you. I don't care if he is a high profile lawyer that works 80 hours a week. If he likes you, he will make time for you. And if he loves you, he will go through hell and high water just to spend time with you. Think about this. When you love a man and you have a hectic work schedule, do you still make time to see him? Do you still text him to ask him how his day is going? I can guarantee you that you do, right? So, apply the same logic to someone that you are not into. You will just throw any reason as to why you haven't been answering their phone calls, but the truth is that you just don't really care. Number 12, whenever he says this, I don't want you wearing that. Now, what he means is, I'm so insecure that you'll leave me for someone better. Okay, guys, call me a feminist, but I believe that as women should be allowed to say, wear or do whatever the hell we want. If we want to wear a crop top and short shorts, that is our right. If we want to wear a skimpy LBD, that is also our decision and our decision only. I do not feel that a man has any say in any choices that we make with our bodies, and that includes with our wardrobe. Okay, sure. It is lovely to hear compliments from our men about what we are wearing, but absolutely nobody should be dictating what you can and cannot wear. This is usually a sign for bad things to come, and you will start to want to control other aspects of your life. Soon, he will tell you that he doesn't want you going out with your girls, or he doesn't want you having male friends, and he'll be saying that you see your family too much and you don't spend enough time with me or with him. Who really needs that? No, thank you. Number 11. Whenever he says this, I'm just really tired. What he really means is, I am no longer attracted to you. Let's face it, men are sexual creatures. They think about sex about twice as much as women. They see cleavage. They think bedroom. They see a nice pair of legs. They think about the bedroom. It is pretty much always on their mind. And they always want to do it. It is no secret that a man will go to the end of the earth to seal the deal with a woman that they are into. I once had a man tell me that he wants to marry me to only find out that he only wanted one thing. Pretty extreme. I know, but men cannot live or function without sex. If your man no longer wants to sleep with you, sorry to break it to you, babe, but something is seriously wrong. There is no way that he is too exhausted for multiple days in a row to participate in something that men cherish clearly. Number 10. Whenever he says, I need space, what he really means is, I need time to decide if this relationship is right for me. He needs time to think. Plain and simple. Believe that this is really what he wants when he expresses this to you. While I understand that sometimes when we say this as women, we want a man to chase after us. That is not the case for guys at all. Because men don't like a woman to chase them. Quite frankly, it is a big turn off. They are hunters and they will always want to take the initiative if they are feelings for you. It isn't cute to chase. If you actually hear him instead of completely disregard his needs, he will appreciate you forever. Yes, I am aware that it is quite painful. You may not be able to speak to the man you love or care deeply for during this time, but you will want to give him this. There is nothing a man hates more than to be smothered when all he is asking for is a little space. Number 9. Whenever he says, you wouldn't like my friends, what he really means is, my friends wouldn't like you. If a man says this to you, run the other way. Either he hangs around a squad of goons or he doesn't want to include you in this very important piece of his life. Everyone knows that once you meet a group of friends, things are getting kind of serious. You should always be cautious of a man that keeps you quiet. It is never a good sign. Trust your instinct. Just enough to realize that he is a bad news. A silent guy is never something that you want to deal with. Shadiness and dishonesty go hand in hand. And do you really want a man who is dishonest? Another worst option is that his friends are disgusting. They may be pigs who just go out and look for girls at a bar, or they may be completely disrespectful to you. Best believe that when a man's friends behave a certain way, he also does too. Number 8. Whenever he says, I don't do PDA, what he really means is, I don't want to look taken in public. Okay, never fail for the I don't do PDA line. Public display of affection. Of course, there are instances in which a man is not very duvet and affectionate. However, if he refuses to even hold your hand in public, he has an ulterior motive. Unfortunately, he probably doesn't want to give off the impression to anyone that he is in a relationship. Don't believe him when he gives you this excuse. A man who adores a woman will barely be able to keep his hands off of her, let alone partake in a little moment hand holding. We all know that men are super sexual creatures, especially when they are in love. He will care less about looking a certain way to other people. Well, of course, more importantly, other women. Because he is more interested in you and your feelings. He will want you to feel wanted and noticed at all times. You will always be able to tell when a couple is in love depending on how affectionate they are with one another. Number 7. Whenever he says, I want a day with the boys, what he really means is, you're consuming all of my time. So, it is no secret that the heterosexual male species love their bro time. Guys love going to play golf or watch football with their amigos, just like you enjoying having brunch and minuses on Sundays with your girls. No, it is not him purposefully living off trying to get away from you and the relationship. So, do not take this personally. I would encourage you to encourage him to spend time with his friends. It is important in a relationship to maintain some boundaries and maintain separate lives. Even when you are already married, you two do not have to be attracted to the hip. So don't make him feel guilty for wanting to spend some time apart. You know that he is coming home to you and all he is doing is drinking beer with his boys. So who cares? This is a straightforward situation and there really is no underlying meaning. Number 6. Whenever he says, who was that guy? What he really means is, I am pretty jealous right now and I need reassurance. Men tend to be a little bit on a prideful side, and the last thing that most of them want to be portrayed as is needy or emotional. While this may sound like pure curiosity from his end, he is low key super jealous. He wants you to reassure him that the guy you just greeted with a hug and a smile is just a friend and he has nothing to worry about. Insecurity isn't strictly a woman's characteristic. Men are too. They are just much better at concealing it. And this is a great example. He will not reveal how jealous he really is. He will just pretend that he is making conversation or simply showing interest in your life. While deep down, he is probably thinking, Did she ever sleep with him? Is he more buff than me? Did that hug linger a little too long? The bright side of this is a little jealousy can be kind of endearing. Number 5. Whenever he says, I miss you, what he really means is, I miss our alone time. This is a tricky one, girls, and I would argue that it would depend on the nature of your relationship with this man. If this is a guy that you would purely sleep with and he is texting you this at around like 3 o'clock in the morning, it is likely that he just misses sleeping with you. However, if it is someone who you had a relationship with that was more than sex, he could just miss spending time with you. So I would use your best judgment and trust your intuition. Deep down, you will know whether or not if these intentions are pure and what it is that he is truly longing for. If this is someone who keeps messing up and comes crawling with his tail in between his legs, I would swerve him real quick. On the other hand, if this is a man who you want to rekindle with, well, him reaching out like this is a good sign. Number 4. Whenever he says nothing, like literally nothing for a week, what he means is, I am not into you, but I am too cowardly to tell you to your face. Okay, to be fair, this is a common trend between men and women alike. I like to call it the slow fade. When someone just slowly and quietly disappears out of your life, it may not be straight up ghosting. When someone abruptly leaves all of a sudden, he may answer a text here and there, but it will be vague and short, and it will be to be polite. Yes, people get busy. Yes, sometimes people aren't near their phones, but it has been proved that we check our phones every 8 minutes. Do you really think that if someone is truly feeling you can take 5 seconds out of their day to chat or to craft a text? There is no excuse for going silent for a week. While it is true that men tend to be less punctual with answering texts because they cannot, multitask the way women can, if a week goes by, you can be sure that he does not like you. Okay? He does not like you the way you want him to. Number 3. Whenever he says, you are overreacting slash dramatic. What he really means is, I'm actually the crazy one, but I will deflect this onto you. I personally despise when a man calls me dramatic or if he tells me I am overreacting. Sure, we all have moments. Sometimes we do cry for no reasons. Sometimes we explode, and that is because we are just human beings. If a man is calling you dramatic because you found him texting another girl, or telling you that you're overreacting because he disappeared on you when you needed him the most, it is code for I am an asshole. This is the kind of man that will never own up to his actions. He knows that he is in the wrong, so instead of you being mad at him, he decide to discredit your very valid feelings. It is a tactic that has been used on women for centuries. It is called gaslighting, and it is very, very real. If you don't know what it is, I suggest look it up because it could be happening to you. Number two, whenever he says, "You look fine," what he really means is, "Can we go now?" You probably hear this from your man after you have tried on 35 outfits and he wants to get out the door. He is getting impatient and he probably doesn't understand for the life of him why you are acting so insecure. He believes you are beautiful no matter what. Dude will never get this aspect of us. They try on one or maybe two outfit and they are done. They can't comprehend the amount of pressure that is bestowed upon us as women from society. We feel like we have to look perfect 24/7, especially during a night out. We know that the pictures will start and they will be posted on Instagram. The last thing we want is to look bad on the gram. Men and women will never see eye to eye when it comes to the getting ready ritual. Yet another disagreement that we have to all deal with, you know, just that's just great. Number whenever he says, "You're beautiful," what he really means is, "I love everything about you." The way a man compliments you say it all. The one who is constantly complimenting your looks and nothing about other qualities is likely the one who is in for only one thing. There are real differences in what a guy will say to you. For me, there is a huge distinction between when a man calls you hot versus beautiful. Hot is the woman he sleeps with. Beautiful is the woman he marries. When someone calls you beautiful, they appreciate everything about you, from that dimple on your cheek to your birthmark that he can't stand a man that throws this compliment your way is admiring every inch of your being. They may even love you. I personally can think back to a time where a man who didn't care called me beautiful, only the man who adored me. And it is not only when you are all dolled up either. It is the dude who call you beautiful when you are just waking up with no makeup on that is crazy about you. That is so sweet.